Good morning, everyone. So, in this lecture, we'll be doing about internal aids to interpretation and external aid to interpretation. This is the topic for the unit 2. Unit first we have already done with understanding the meaning of interpretation of statutes and all. This is the second topic where we'll be doing about internal aids to interpretation. So it will be divided into this topic. First, in this lecture, one will understand about internal aids to interpretation. Now first let us understand what is this internal aids. What is aid? First the question which comes is what is aid? Now aid means a device that helps or assists. A device that helps or assists. So now for this purpose of interpretation or construction, court can take help of any internal or external aids. They can take course to various internal and external aids. Now in this case of KP Varghese versus Income Tax Officer Ernakulam, Supreme Court stated that interpretation of statute being an exercise in the ascertainment of meaning everything which is logically relevant should be admissible. So what is internal aid means? Those aids which are available in the statute itself. Each and every part of an enactment helps in interpretation. However, it is important to decipher as to whether these parts can be of any help in interpretation of statutes. That is what the internal aid is. So internal aid means those aids which are available in the statute itself. The help is available in the statute itself. जिसको interpret करना है उसी में help होती है. That is what internal aid is, means those aids which are available in the statute itself. Now each and every part of enactment helps in the interpretation. Now there are many kinds of internal aids. Title, long title, short title, preamble, heading, marginal notes, and so many things. Starting with the here, see, internal aid means those aids which are available in the statute itself. Court can interpret the statute by employing such aids which are as follows. Title of the statute. Now there is the short title. Right, now short title in sense, the short title of the act is only, see, the short title of the act is for the purpose of reference and for its identification. The short title of the act is only its name which is given solely for the purpose of reference and identification. Short title, what does this mean? See, by example you can understand. Suppose section 1 of CPC says this act may be cited as the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. So the act, example is suppose the Indian Penal Code 1860 or the Indian Evidence Act 1872. So the short title, it ends with the year of passing of the act, and it is for the purpose of reference and for identification. Through this we can identify and refer. This is what short title means. Then there is this long title. Now this long title begins with the words an act to. Like for example, if you see directly here, the long title of CRPC says an act to consolidate and amend the laws relating to criminal procedure. Along the long title of CPC says, CRPC's long title says, now what is the long title? This is the long title. An act to consolidate and amend the laws relating to the criminal procedure. Right? In CPC it says an act to consolidate and amend the laws relating to the procedure of the codes of civil judicature. So long title is mentioned under certain acts whose purpose is to give a general description about the object of the act. Now what does this gives? An object of the act. Like what is the object of CRPC? An act to consolidate and amend the laws relating to criminal procedure. That's what the long title is mentioned under certain acts whose purpose is to give a general description about the object of it. It's giving a general description. This is giving a general description about CRPC. An act to consolidate and amend the laws gives about CPC. However, it is not considered as a conclusive aid to interpretation of statutes, as it doesn't resolve ambiguity, any confusion arising in the words or expression. So it's not a complete help, it's not a complete assessment. Instead, it's just like a general description about what is the object of these statutes. That's what long title is. So long title is being used by the court to interpret certain provision of the statutes. It's useful only to the extent of removing the ambiguity and confusion, and is not the conclusive aid. Now in the case in re Kerala Education Bill, if you see, there are these two cases where Supreme Court have said about the long title. I've mentioned about it. Okay, this is state. It's wrong written here. It's okay. I can write it. Wait. So, pen. This is state. Okay. It's wrong written here. An error. Such state. Now in re Kerala Education Bill, Supreme Court held that the policy, first case, the Supreme Court held that policy and purpose may be deduced from long title and the preamble. So they also said about preamble. In Manohar Lal versus State of Punjab, long title of the act is relayed a guide to decide the scope of the act. He have said about the scope of the act. And in re Kerala, they have said that the Supreme Court held that policy and purpose may be deduced from long title and preamble as well. In preamble will be doing it further. So this is about the Supreme Court has held about long title in these two cases. When comes preamble. Now what is a preamble? It is a tool for internal aid to interpretation as it contains the main object and reason. Again, it contains the main object and reason of the act. So this also contains the main object. See, the long title contained the general description about the statute. Right. Preamble contains the main object and reason of the act. So the main object and purpose of the act are found in the preamble of the statute. Or we can say preamble is the act in a nutshell. It is a preparatory statement. It contains the reason for enactment of the act. It is an intrinsic aid in interpretation of an ambiguous act. So the rule of interpretation of preamble is that when a language of an enactment is clear and unambiguous, the preamble has no part to play. But if more than one interpretation is possible, a help can be taken from preamble to ascertain the true meaning of provision. That's what the thing is. So rule of interpretation of preamble is that when a language of an enactment is clear and unambiguous, when it is clear, preamble has no part to play. But if more than one interpretation is possible, if there is more than one meaning coming out of that point of there is more than one interpretation is possible, then we can take a help from the preamble, because preamble contains the main object. It can give us the main object and reason of why the act was formed, or what is it is a nutshell of the act. It is a preparatory statement. It contains why the reason for enactment of the act. So we can take help from preambles. Therefore, it is counted under the internal aids. It is given under the statute itself. Then there is this case, Kashi Prasad versus State. Court held that it can be treated as a key for the interpretation, as a key for interpretation of statute. That's what Supreme Court, the court said. Then, so till here we have read about preamble, long title and short title. These are the internal aids, alright, which are available in the statute itself. Moving on to the third, okay, marginal notes. Before that, we'll do headings. So headings are, now what is heading? They are prefix to section or a group or set of section. By example, we can understand this. See, headings, first thing, they are of two kinds. One is prefix to a section and other prefix to a group or set of sections. So of two kinds. Suppose some chapter of IPC and heading is given as offense affecting the human body, which is section 300, talks about murder. So the heading is offense affecting the human body. So these headings have been treated by court as preamble to those section or set of sections, because they are the heading. They are prefix to a section. For example, I told you about the heading offense against human body. It is the heading of of section 300, murder, in IPC, and so on. There are so many headings. So the rule of interpretation is that the heading can't control the plain words of the provision, but if after the plain reading of section more than one meaning is possible, only then the court may seek guidance from the headings. So headings can also play part under understanding. If there are more than one meaning coming out of the act, then again a case law, important, Krishna versus State of Andhra Pradesh. It was held that only in case of ambiguity or doubt, when there is non-clearance, when there is some doubt, heading and subheading may be referred to as aid in construing provision. Moving on to so headings are like preamble. They are like preamble. They help as a key to the mind of legislature, but do not control the substantive section of enactment. That's the role of heading. After this, marginal note. Okay, we were left with marginal note. I skipped it. So marginal notes are the notes which are inserted at the side of section in an act, which express the effect of section, but they are not part of statute. So they express the effect of the section, but they are not there. This is important, that they are not the part of statute. They are also known as side notes. They are inserted by drafter and not legislator. So if the words used in statutes are clear and unambiguous, the marginal note cannot control the meaning. But in case of ambiguity or doubt, marginal note may be referred to. And now what is marginal note? They are inserted at the side of the section and they are not part of the statute. So that they can also be, marginal notes could also be referred just in case of any ambiguity or doubt, they can also be referred. Then illustration is there. Okay, there is this definitional section also. Definition section is given under the act. They contain the definition clause of any particular statute. Then illustrations in enactment, they are provided by the legislature. They are valuable aids in the understanding the real scope. Explanation is there. So illustration are appended to section of statute with a view to illustrating the law explained in the provision. Such illustration manifests the intention of the legislature. So they manifest the intention of the legislature and can be referred to in case of ambiguity. Again the same thing. In this illustration, there is a case of Mahesh Chandra Sharma versus Rajkumari Sharma. So in this, the court held that illustration are part of the section and they help to elucidate the principle of section. Then there is this explanation. This is also inserted with the purpose of explaining the meaning of particular provision and to remove doubts which might creep up if the explanation had not been inserted. Now, what is the purpose of explanation? To explain the meaning and intention of act, to clarify the case of obscurity and vagueness, and to provide. Then there is definition of interpretation clause. I have told you this. Then there is punctuations. Okay, explanations is done. Punctuation are put in form of, so it is a minor element in construction of a statute. Punctuation are put in form of colon, semicolon, comma, full stop, dash, hyphen, brackets. This is clear. So in earlier times, okay, the statute were passed without punctuations, and therefore courts were not concerned with looking at punctuations. But in modern times, statutes are passed with punctuations. They also make it quite clear, and they play a minor role in construing a statute, but they do play. Then schedules are part of statute which are mentioned at the end of the act. They are always mentioned at the end of the act. They contain detailed prescribed form of working out policy and contain subject in form of list. And if there is a clash between the schedule and the main body of the act, the main body will prevail, obviously. So they are given at the end of the act. And then there is the saving clause. Saving clause are generally appended in cases of repeal. If there is a repeal or reenactment of a new statute, then proviso to a section has the natural presumption that an acting part of the section would have included subject matter of proviso, and exceptions are added to the enactment with purpose of exempting, obviously. Okay, so these were the not only but many internal aids, starting with the long title, short title, and just here. Yeah, long title, short title. Then we went on with headings and case laws, marginal notes, definitional sections, illustrations, provision, explanations, and punctuations, proviso, and so on. Right? Preamble, which is, so that's it for the internal aid. These all provide for the purpose of interpreting a statute. They are the internal aids. These internal aids are the aids which are available in the statute itself. So that's it. In the next lecture, we'll be doing about external aid. Thank you.